Hello guys, how's it going?
Hiya.
It's
Bob and
it's Mr. Goose.
And to some recent comments, thank you for the comments on our videos from up north. We've changed our shirts for you. The shirts that were getting grubby in those previous videos are going to appear on a couple more videos, which we're fitting this one in to the series. So
just to prove that we've got more clothes.
We've got more than one t-shirt each. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that's very nice attire, isn't it? I like the combination there.
It's black and white.
Yeah, and also it's kind of like fitness, a bit of fitness there as well.
A little bit of cake.
Bit of cake.
Bit of carrot cake.
We had earlier. But it tells me that you're into fitness at the moment.
It tells you that I've been for not 2 but 3 yoga and Pilates classes today, and frankly I feel a bit like a bent paper clip.
And you've stopped drinking as well.
And I've stopped drinking for 3 months.
That's amazing. So
and everyone tells me I'm a complete pain in the arse.
So what we've got here today then? What we're going to do today?
Well, what we're doing is we're going to do a little interlude from Ramon's executive suite about ES guitars. And the reason for it is that Ramon has just taken delivery of this one. So we're going to spend most of the time talking about that. But we're lucky because we've got my Ponzi 335, which many of you will have seen before, my 59, which is in great shape. We've got that to compare it to, which is a brutally unfair comparison.
It is, because this is actually in a lot better shape than I'm holding.
But I've got to tell you, spoiler alert, it's holding up rather well. And riding shotgun, sitting in the background here, because it happens to be visiting me for a fortnight or two, is a guitar that I took down to the Kempton show, London Guitar Show recently, where we displayed the most fantastic collection. Complete
you did.
collection.
It was a really good display.
With our friend David, who's been in previous videos. So we had a 330, we had 335, 345, 355.
Keith was there as well, wasn't he?
No.
He wasn't?
No, but he was there in spirit. We had EB2, we had a Crest, late 70s all rosewood thingy, which I really thought I wouldn't like and was fantastic.
Yeah.
And then we had this EB6. So this basically looks a bit like a 59 or 60 335.
Yeah.
With one humbucker, funny old Gibson bass bridge, 2 knobs and a mud switch. It's kind of like a 335, but it's too long. It's got the same machine heads on there. It's got 6 strings, which is a 6-string bass.
Is that a 335 body?
Well, I mean, if you look at those two, they're absolutely identical. Yeah.
Wow.
The reason this is here is partly because it's here and visiting, and it's such fun. It's really quite a nice guitar in its own right, but super rare. Only 67 made.
Wow.
About 30 each in 60 and 61.
Yeah.
And basically, if you want to tell the difference, a quick way of doing so is that the switch on it, on this, the 61, the switch is just like the foot switch on your stomp box. It's a metal clad thing. Whereas the switches on the 60s tend to be those black plastic lamp push.
So you'd have to really kind of press this down hard, wouldn't you?
You do, and the thing is, when you've got it wired in and playing, and you click down on that switch, you can hear how acoustically loud it is. The guitar's going to go thump because it's a semi. Yeah. So it's not terrifically clever. No. But it's in beautiful condition.
It is.
It's super rare. I mean, look, it's not a blemish.
No.
And so we literally thought we'd let it ride shotgun for this video, and we might play it out too.
Yeah, I think we'll plug it in.
Yeah.
So let's just do a little quick bit of playing of this. So if I give you a little groove. Oh, shout out to Kirk Fletcher, because I heard he was a bit poorly, but if Kirk's watching, or shout out to Kirk Fletcher. Hope you get well, bro.
Absolutely.
He's a lovely. He's like the nicest guy in blues.
Oh, top man. And he's he was on a show of ours. It must be 3 years ago now.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So God bless you. Hope you get well
our best wishes.
But I heard Kirk playing this because this is kind of like a little Robin Ford rhythmic thing.
Okay.
It's like an A minor, and then you play. If for guys in the audience, you can play an A minor. You play your normal A minor. Shift it up here to the 3rd fret. Okay. And put your pinky on the A string, 5th fret, and you get this really nice vamp. Go to an A minor, and I heard Kirk Fletcher do that actually. He's a great. Google Kirk Fletcher 335, which ties into our video, and you'll hear him playing this little vamp and then him solo. So we're doing this as a.
And so I'm kind of learning all these kind of chords at the moment, right? This is a slash chord. So this is basically a B minor with an A. So it could be an A minor 7, or it could be a B minor over A. I'd call this a B minor over A.
Yeah, you can look at it.
Typical West Coast feeling. Yeah.
Alright, so try that little vamp, but that's a shout out to Kirk. Hope you get well, bro, and I hope we can meet again soon. With
Absolutely, love to.
So, and Kirk is just like, for me, the best kind of shining blues guy out there, really. You know, he's just the man.
Well, and he keeps the right company. You know, he's hanging out with Josh Smith, he's hanging out with Jobo, he's hanging out with the right people, you know.
Yeah.
But there's more sweetness and soul and warmth in his tone.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of the gospel background, and then he's very influenced by Larry Carlton and Robert Ford with that gospel, and then the deep blues thing. You know, he's just got it all. He's a very, very rounded guy.
Amazing player, and you know, a lovely man. So anyway, we're not really here to talk about that because I mean it's beautiful, but it's old hat. We should really pull this thing apart because it's really interesting. So tell us all about it.
Well, this was made in '95 or a bit before, and these were sold at the time for 700,000 yen, which was quite a lot of money. And that going back into the 90s, that was about £5,000 in '95. I mean, what would that buy you in '95? £5,000.
That would buy you a lot of guitar. I mean, that back in '95, that would have bought you the toppest end PRS.
Right.
You know, it would have almost bought you a Blackguard telly back in the day.
Right. Right.
Certainly would have bought you a beat up TV Junior or a pretty clean Cherry one.
Wow.
So you know, quite a lot of money.
A lot of money. And the main difference between this guitar here that I'm holding, which is a real 59 ES-335 worth a lot of money.
Yep.
And this guitar here, the main difference is the fact that this is solid flame maple. Okay, whereas a real 335 is a 3-ply.
4-ply. That's a 4-ply.
Oh, that's a 4-ply.
Yeah, our friend David's 59 335, equally fantastic condition. I reckon it's just got the edge on this in terms of tone. That's a 3-ply. Right. The earlier ones were 3, and it's just a bit more alive.
So you got a 3. You start with a 3-ply, which was maple, birch maple, or something.
I'm not sure.
Something like that. I think it was a sandwich of maple, birch, and maple. But this one is solid. This is solid flame maple throughout. So the sides are solid flame maple, the top and the back.
And there is a lot of flame going on. You know, there's beautifully flamey back. I'm not sure how much the video will pick up of this, but we can try.
We'll do some close up.
And then obviously flame on the front. Lots of stripes going on here. But even around the sides, you know, a bit like some of those old Hofners, which has just got mad wood on the sides where no one sees it.
We met a few of them, didn't we? In our travels. But this is made by Navigator. Navigator brand are owned by a company called Electric Sound Products, otherwise known as ESP in Tokyo, Japan. And so they are kind of like not so well known of the Japanese makes, obviously the Tokai and Greco and Bernie and those kind of, but this was kind of like more, they've kind of developed into a more of the high-end sort of market of replicas. And this particular guitar really would have been, I mean, my guess would have been basically a handmade instrument. And I think, I'm not for sure, but it could well be a Brazilian board. If it's not a Brazilian board, it will be a Honduras rosewood board.
Yeah.
But it could well be a Brazilian board at this sort of price spec. It
is, you know, it is quite a fantastic guitar. It's just a guitar you pick up, and if you're used to kind of nice old things like this, you pick it up and you go, I'm home. I'm home. It's absolutely like that. And I mean, obviously you've only got our word for it because we're here, you know, sitting fondling the things. But the feel of this neck, my 59's ever so slightly rounder on the back. But
yes, a tiny bit bigger, isn't it?
But we're talking angels on pinheads here. This is just a great neck, and it plays like the wind. Frets are beautiful. You know, it's no, it isn't. It's just the light, trick of the light. I was going to say if it's got nibs on it, it's amazing. But
I think it has. It did have nibs originally, but I think they've sanded when they've done a fret job on it. Okay, they're gone. But you can just about see the nibs. And you see them going up.
Yeah.
So it did.
It's very well made, but as you say, I mean, this is like a top end. So anyway, but you're an expert on navigators because you've got all kinds of navigators.
Well, this is my 10th. I've got 10 actually.
Okay, I think that'll do. But I mean, you've got Strats, you've got Tellys, you've got Les Paul.
And it's not like only vintage instruments, which all cost basically a mortgage or a house. A navigator's not much money. You're talking £1,000 or £2,000 each. Right. So I've got 10 navis, but I'd probably sell them and couldn't afford a high-end PRS.
And nor would you want one. Yes. Voice off stage.
Yeah, so I played when I was demoing at Coda Music here in England. I used to play a lot of Collins, demo a lot of Collins guitars, and they have a model which is all solid. Now the issue for me with the Collins ones, which are beautiful guitars and they sound beautiful, but they don't sound like a 335. They sound like something else because they are something else, you know. But what's great about this instrument is even though it's solid maple, it's still. I mean, what's your version?
Yeah, it does. It sounds like a Gibson 335. The only thing I'd say is that these are Seymour pickups.
Yeah, so they're mid 90s Seymour 59.
So I'd say again they're a little bit hotter.
Yep.
And they lack a little bit of the subtlety.
Yep.
Of an old PAF.
Yes.
Okay, I know that's a pejorative thing to say because old PAFs are, you know, smoke and mirrors. But for me, they just lack a bit of the noodle and subtlety. But the chassis of this guitar is just bloody fantastic. The weight is right, the contours, everything. It's just like, yeah, I'm home.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that means a lot. And that's from somebody who's obviously owned this instrument for 20 odd years. You know. So another thing is this is a bit worn in. And when the guy sold it to me, because I tried to get him down in price, he's a really nice guy from Japan, and I tried to get him down because, you know, because of the condition it's in, it's a little bit battered. He said to me, it's relic. You got a free relic guitar. So now they're thinking that, you know, you should pay more for a guitar that's damaged.
Yeah.
You know, that's the age we live in.
It's a man old market, but the one thing is, the one thing that I just can't get away from, if you pick up a modern instrument in the shop, a new instrument, the one thing is it may have some promise that might sound nice plugged in and, you know, neck's a nice shape and the rest of it. You're going to have to put the wear into those frets.
Yeah.
It's going to feel a little tiny bit gritty and new.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first thing I do if I bought a new guitar, funnily enough, I am thinking of buying a new guitar. There's a very cheap guitar on the market at the moment, which is basically, it's a Stratocaster with Telecaster pickups on it.
Yeah.
Right? Fender make them. They're not much money. And I thought I might buy one because I love Tellies and I love Strats. I might just buy one and have fun with it. But I know it's going to feel like a brand new guitar. So the first thing I do is take the strings off, mask off the frets and get some wire wool out.
Yeah.
And basically give it a year's playing in an hour and then put it back together. And immediately I know it would start to feel, you know.
So let's play blues. And by the way, Bob's playing one of an interesting pedal, aren't you? I
am playing, underneath my legs here, I'm playing my Goose pedal, which has come back for a quick service and is now fully operational. But I use the Goose pedal, I use it hardly on at all, just to give it a little extra something, that's it. So there's not, you know, it's not mad fuzzbox stuff. You can crank the gains and go into mad territory. I don't use it like that.
Right.
And most of the time I use it actually I use it on Fenders most of the time. But in this case I'm using it on a Gibson alike.
So let's do something in G, yeah?
My favourite new chord. Had to get it in, even if it goes with nothing. Right.
So talking about 335s.
Yeah.
And this is something I got from watching Kirk Fletcher's video. Before we did this video.
Right.
And he was talking about Larry Carlton and Robin Ford, and both of them played 335s because on Robin Ford's first album, his first solo album called Inside Story.
Yeah.
He actually had a Guild Starfire, and then when he was with Joni Mitchell, with George Harrison, I think even he was playing I can't remember, it was either Joni or George Harrison. He had a Starfire, and
was
then
it the Starfire with Dynasonic pickups, or with Filtertrons?
Filtertrons,
right,
I think.
okay.
And then he went.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I think he was with Joni Mitchell, and then he went and bought a 335.
Right.
And so he had this beautiful kind of exactly something looking like this. I think it had block markers, but
right.
I think it was pretty much like this. And if you look on the front of Inside Story, the album, which was produced by Steve Cropper from Booker T and the G's, yeah. It's a great album, man. Because everyone thinks, Robin Ford's first album is Talk to Your Daughter, but it's not. It's Inside Story. And the band that he used was Jimmy Haslip on bass, and they were basically the Yellow Jackets, So that was how the Yellow Jackets formed, and then Robin Ford played on the first Yellow Jackets, official Yellow Jackets album, and left after that.
Yeah.
So Robin Ford actually formed the Yellow Jackets, But so I just remember getting it because I got Talk to Your Daughter first, and then I got the Inside Story.
I don't think I've ever even heard it.
Oh, it's amazing!
I'm going to have to listen to it.
Yeah, and the playing is really, and it just had that. He's playing a lot in the middle. So it's I think one of the songs when it kind of had that sort of a vibe to it, and so that was really kind of funky because Steve Cropper was obviously in the end a nice kind of, I think maybe you had the Memphis Horns, I don't know, but great album. And so really Robin Ford developed, I think, a lot of his style on a 335, and obviously Larry Carlton was playing with Joni Mitchell as well at the same time on a 335, Mr. 335, and Larry had a 68, pretty sure it was a 68 335, which had a narrow nut actually, narrow nut,
narrow nut,
block inlays. So those kind of, and for me the 335 is really the whole kind of in the middle of jazz and blues. And wouldn't you say that?
Oh, I would, and I've got to know quite recently a bunch of UK session players who've all got quite jazzy leanings, whatever their day jobs require them to play. They've all got naturally quite jazzy leanings, as guys like that would have, you'd expect. All 335 players. Yeah. Because the 335 is where rock meets jazz, and it's legit to play either on that guitar. Yeah. Whereas if you play hard rock on a L5,
no, it's not gonna happen.
bit weird.
Yeah.
And if you play, the other way around, too much, really hard jazz, bebop on a Les Paul, it's going to be a bit like, okay, you've got the chops, but it doesn't really have the body. Yeah.
And also, there was a great guitar player. What I'm going to do, I'll just do an imitation if I can, was Johnny Guitar Watson.
Right.
And again, he played something a similar sort of, I think it maybe was a 70s one, but he just played with his fingers and he just had this... had that real
very
stinging,
percussive.
Very, very much, and that almost that kind of Albert
the Albert Collins.
But he could, could do beautiful bebop runs, and Johnny Guitar Watson, incredible player, and again a 335 player. So it's kind of got that West Coast, the West Coast blues sound, really, where jazz and rock and blues kind of all meet. Yeah. This is really the guitar that makes that statement.
And in the last video where we did the gold tops and the SGs.
Yeah,
and there was a lot of chat in the comments about about all the West Coast bands. There was a lot of SGs around, everything Quicksilver, Big Brother and the Holding Company, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But the other stellar guitar at that time was the ES, usually 335, sometimes 345. Yeah, really, really popular as well. And also, in those days, when guys very often were asked to go along to a studio and they couldn't turn up with a van load of gear, they just walked in with their guitar. Yeah. Lots of the studio players played a 335 because they could get some of the sharper tones out of it as well as some of the rich tones.
Yeah, you could really get a legit jazz sound. kind of
playing in a hotel bar near you shortly.
So and then you can get the funk thing, and like the Johnny Guitar Watson who's more funk sort of thing, and then you get the Larry Carlton, the fusion thing. You know, let's do a little sort of fusion. Let's maybe hot up the pedal a bit, and I'll give you a groove and just see if we can.
Okay. Sounds a bit like a chicken picking at a fusion part, but there you go.
No,
pecking, not picking.
But so there you go. And I don't know what you think, Bob. But for me, it's like when you got one of these guitars, really all you need is maybe an overdrive pedal that you got here and the amp, and that's it. It's not really a guitar that you need to have all these delays and effects and a million effects.
No, although I mean on both the West Coast and the East Coast, we've got a whole bunch of guitar players. Like your
chorus pedal.
Well, your Mike Stearns. I mean, that whole chorus thing. I have to say, of all the pedals on a board, the one thing that I find hardest to use is a chorus pedal, right? Because they just make everything kind of wallow and gurgle, and at the same time, if you play like that, they make the guitar clank.
And it is that sound of the 70s, isn't it?
And so if you like it, fine, but I just don't really like it. So when I use, I tend to use a pitch shift rather than chorus, and I tend to have it mixed so far down that it's almost like you can't really hear it until you take it away and you go, what's missing? And for me, that's the setting. But some of those guys, the Landaus and the Stearns, who had really liquid,
John Scofield
and Scofield liquid chorus sounds.
Yeah, and Scofield was. Really funky. Yeah. I mean, what I like to use is this baby here.
This fits on any proprietary pedal board. Is a mere 2 inches by 3, hardly bigger than a postage stamp.
No.
Runs off what 3-phase mains electricity.
And you could do like
That's a murder weapon. It's not a pedal. Christ, I'm back to Pilates again. My God.
Yeah.
And it's got a window. It's got a tube that lights up. It probably lights up blue.
I know. I mean, we should do a whole show. I've actually been thinking about doing a show on this because it's such an interesting pedal.
You and I are the opposite. I'm constantly looking for tinier and tinier things on my board. You love big lumps, like your reverb,
the delay,
your crucial reverb.
Let me show you. I'll show you guys. Yeah.
It's colossal.
But it sounds great.
And you've got another one which isn't on the board at the moment, the black box, which is that your Echo?
This is my box.
No, that's your new one, but you had another one. Are we going to talk about that in this video?
No, you're going to take it away and you're going to do a review.
And I'm going to do a review of it, right?
Yeah. Because that's how we do it. But okay, let me plug into this. Let me just plug into this. Just change over roles. This is only 100,000 quid.
Nah. Now, mind you, it is interesting. At this show I was alluding to when we showed some guitars a couple of weeks ago, you might have seen the videos on Facebook and stuff. It's under Burst Believers if you're interested. But I took this guitar along because I just thought, as part of the ES family, it's so rare and it completes the set. And I felt a bit pleased with myself, frankly, as if that isn't a common thing, about having one of these guitars there. And a guy came up to us just before the show opened and said, "Oh, nice EB6, mate. I've got one round the corner." And I was a bit crestfallen because these are very rare. And lo and behold, he did. He had one of these, strung for baritone, and he also had the later model, which is again similar looking neck and head, but it's got the SG body shape like an EB bass.
Yeah.
And I was a bit crestfallen. Then I thought, hang on, we've got two of these incredibly rare guitars at the same show. That's quite something for the punters, isn't it?
Yeah.
Along with no less than 8 Sunburst Les Pauls on the day.
Yeah.
It was pretty good.
3, 4.
It sounds amazing. If you were a bass player, you'd have a problem because the strings are too close together.
Yeah.
But you know, for picking out all those melodies, it's got a fantastic tone.
Yeah.
So the earlier Gibsons had this great big humbucking pickup in the neck, known as the mudbucker, because it already cut all the frequencies before you even used the switch.
So this is not a normal path then?
This is a regular path.
This is right.
And it's got, in that position, it's got a fantastic tone.
Right. So how much would one of these cost, do you think?
Well, the chap at the show was offering, inviting offers for his.
And what did he want?
Madness.
Tell me.
6 figures.
6 figures, 100,000
for a bass.
£100,000.
Right. But I mean, you know, frankly, I mean, you can walk into a room and you can say, I'd like, you know, 20 million quid for this cheeseburger, and you just get laughed at. So it's a bit fanciful, but I mean, I don't know, because basses don't command as much money as guitars.
No.
The rarest basses, you know, the top end go 20s, more or less. The sky's the limit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I don't know. I wouldn't say any more than that. It is. It has a very limited use.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because it's not. You know, a bass player is not going to be buying this for 6 strings. You know what I mean? And a guitar player, well, you know, if I was trying to play this.
Having said that, if you were a serious collector and a serious player and you recorded lots and you wanted lots of different tone colours, get one of these and string it up as baritone.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, baritone.
Off you go. Yeah. But again, you know, how many people are going to pay that kind of coin for a baritone?
That you might use only on a couple of tracks.
Yeah, you've got to be very wealthy.
Although this would probably sound pretty cool with fuzz. Just thinking, with a fuzz pedal, you know, this would sound pretty.
Sound quite bombastic, wouldn't it?
You know, but it's a beautiful. You know, it's got all the appointments. The nice pick guard and the mirror.
I mean, it's just a nice unusual thing, you know.
Yeah.
So hence that's why we sort of stuck it on as kind of a little bit of extra interest and a bit of candy.
Yeah.
And all the rest of it. Here goes. There we
go.
go.
Well, before we go, guys, we will
casualty.
I just want to show you one last guitar, guys, because we're going to do a proper video of this and give it its own video. But I'm just going to hand Bob this guitar and let Bob do the talking, because Bob knows quite a bit about these guitars.
Okay.
Oh. So if I.
Okay. I won't plug it in.
Yeah. So this is we're going to do a proper video on this guitar that Bob's holding, and this is a guitar which is a beautiful guitar, which was made by our good friend, wasn't it?
Made by Darren Horton
of
Daniel's Guitars.
Daniel's Guitars, and he presented me this guitar a couple of weeks ago.
But you've known this guitar for quite a while, haven't you? It's existed.
Yeah.
For a few years.
Yes.
And you've known it on and had it on and off on loan.
Yes, I've had it on and off on loan, but Darren finally gave it to me a couple of weeks ago, and I went down to his workshop and collected it, and he did some repair work because I'd messed it up a little bit myself when I was touring it over 5 years ago, and I was a bit careless with it, and so he's repaired the binding. And it's just kind of refretted it and gone over it, and now it's just a beautiful instrument. It's because I'm recording an album and doing a tour in Europe next year where I'm trying to invoke, the Blues Breakers sound and the first Cream album, that kind of 1966 era. And I wanted an instrument that kind of could get me there, because I've been very fortunate to know Bob and play his instruments, and we've been doing the Bob and Ramon show all around, haven't we, playing these beautiful instruments.
Yeah.
And so you kind of get used to that, But obviously, I'm champagne taste on a beer salary.
Well, and also the fact is, if you're touring, it's one thing going out and playing one of these very carefully at a gig, like somebody's private party, something like that. But the idea of going out and touring this, 20 destinations in 25 nights. Yeah,
it's going to get a bit tattered and torn.
Well, if it doesn't go mysteriously missing on the way.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you need something a little more humble. But this is to all intents and purposes a configuration of a Les Paul burst. It's the right weight, it's the right feel. The neck's lovely and chunky. This feels very comfortable. And I've just eulogised about that Navigator and how that feels comfortable to a vintage player. And this guitar, so the only thing that makes this less than completely familiar is that it just needs a bit of wear on it, on the finish, on the back, just a bit of hand wear. But
once essentially it's kind of Darren's reworked it, so it's almost like a new guitar.
Yeah, it's not a relic. It's a slightly worn new guitar, and if this had a bit of wear like an old guitar would have, it's going to sound and feel and play fantastic. And I asked Ramon what gauge strings he had on it, because I tend to like slightly more effeminate gauge strings on my guitars. I'm a bit weedy, don't really play masculine style. These got 11s on it, which for me that's quite a big ask. I can fly around this no problem at all.
Yeah, it's
very comfortable.
Normally, I know Bob frowns at me, but normally I'd top wrap a Les Paul just to make it a bit more slinky. But with this guitar, I don't need to do that.
And not only that, you've actually got the stop tailpiece pretty down near the body. So there's no, you're not helping with the tension at all.
No.
But it feels fantastic, And it's if anything, I would say this was a little more acoustically lively than most of the bursts I've come across.
Mm-hmm. That's saying a lot.
And normally, the first thing you do when you pick up a guitar in a shop is you just go, does it ring?
Yeah.
And if it does, you go, okay, let's move to the next bass.
Yeah.
and so this one, it really rings. It's a lovely guitar.
Yeah, I'm very lucky to have this. So
that's a shout out for Darren Horton and Daniel's Guitars. This one's branded Daniel's. Yeah, it's a really nice piece of work. So.
We'll do a future video where we compare this one to Bob's 1958 burst.
Yeah,
and that'll be really exciting to do.
Yeah.
So
that'd be good.
Yeah, so I think that's about it, isn't it?
I think that's it for now. It's a fairly grey old late afternoon, getting dark too damn early.
Yeah, it is.
Around the southeast of England, so it's a bit. It's that time of year, when.
So you want to hibernate?
Well, late afternoon in the winter, it's a depressing time. It's like, oh no, you can't. Don't get dark yet. But hey, I was watching a movie last night and thinking, God, I'd like to live somewhere warm. Maybe I should.
So we'll meet again. I'm actually off to Spain.
Talking of places that are warmer.
Yeah, I'm actually off to Spain this week, but when I come back, we'll reconvene.
Okay.
Guess, you know.
And anyway, we're going to continue to post the videos from the previous shoot.
Yeah.
Because there's still a couple left, even more tasty guitars from there. So we're going to press on relentlessly.
Yeah, you're going to do that review on that pedal.
Indeed, yes.
The boost pedal, which is really like that's been one of my favourite pedals. Apart from the new the same Dumble pedal, that's been a great pedal.
On his video demos, it did sound bloody good.
Yeah,
and actually, if you can bear it, the Yuki the maker.
Yeah, he's amazing.
He's done a 45 or 50 minute online video about the design and the making of it, and it's pretty deep dive, but it's a really good video. And the Japanese guitar player he's got demoing is a bit useful.
Yeah, he's very good.
He's fantastic. Yeah. So it's a great video. If you've got 40 minutes to kill, it's amazing.
Yeah. So
we might even put the link up if we can.
We will. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah. Okay then guys, thanks for watching the video. We'll be back soon on the Bob and Ramon Show, and also thanks for subscribing because we're near 1,000.
Oh.
I know it's only small, we're only little, but we're nearly up to 1,000.
Well, actually, I'm hoping that we hit the 1,000 more or less the same time as I come off the booze, and then champagne will be raised.
We'll literally do a show where we open a bottle of champagne,
and where we're probably completely trashed.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do because we need to do our Christmas special.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Absolutely.
So we'll get drunk.
Yeah, we will. All right. Okay. But for now, it's goodbye from
me, and it's goodbye from him.
The other one. Cheers for now.
Bye.
Bye.